Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop I'm review. This is part 290. The album that I would like to review tonight is O.G.C with their second album and their final album they dropped as a group titled The M-Pire Strikes Back, released in 1999. You guys should know who O.G.C are, or Original Gunn Clappaz, also known as the Three Amigos, 321, which consists of three members, obviously. You got Top Dog, right, who was Steel from Smith and Wesson. That's his brother. You got Serang Wonder, and you got Louisville Slugger. But around this time, he was calling himself Hennyville Slugger, which is, for his time it was cool, but now in today's time it's kind of corny. So, but yeah. So this album dropped 3 years after The Storm, which I think is a very underrated album. I know people. I've heard people had mixed reviews on that album. Even people like O.G.S, they had like mixed reviews that I've spoken to in the past. They had like mixed reviews on that album because I guess compared to Nocturnal and The Shining, they were kind of disappointed with the production. But I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was kind of dark, had like a slow feel, like a laid back feel, but it was still dope. You know what I mean? But it wasn't for everybody. But it is what it is. I did a review on The Storm. I did a review on Nocturnal. Definitely check those albums out. Did the review for the People by Bootcamp Click. I wasn't too keen on that album. You know what I mean? I thought it was kind of weak due to the production. And then for me, what I would like to call the second round of releases for Duck Down Records, meaning by this time, a lot of the artists on Duck Down Records were putting out their second album, hence the name Second Round. So with that being said, first up, you would have Cocoa Brothers with the Rude Awakening album, aka Smith and Wesson, that dropped in '98, which I think was an underrated album. A lot of people, it had mixed reviews, but it was pretty decent for what it was. I liked it. Obviously it's not touching The Shining, but it had its moments. Underrated album. I did a review on that. Check that out. Helter Skelter Magnum Force. That's another album, was kind of a little underwhelming. At first when I heard it, it was kind of weak in my opinion. But then I like it for what it is. It's definitely not better than Nocturnal. But what I do appreciate from that album is the fact that the Sean P that we all love and grew up listening to in the 2000s, meaning from the Donkey Price Jr. Mixtapes from the early 2000s, the Monkey Bars album, Jesus Price, Mike Tyson, and so forth and so forth. I feel like that Sean P that we all love was birthed on Magnum Force. I felt like he reinvented himself on that album. That's my personal opinion. Don't believe it. Just listen to the album. Compared to, Nocturnal and Magnum Force is like light. He's like light and day. So it's like a different artist. I feel like Rockness Monster was the star for Helter Skelter. I feel like with Nocturnal, I felt like with Magnum Force, Sean P was the shining star on that album. My personal opinion. So I did a review on those. Also did a review on Black Moon's Warzone. It's another dope album, very underrated album. A lot of people like to compare it to Enter the States, which you can't do. It's not fair. Two completely different albums. I just like the whole space lo-fi vibes that album has, kind of like a spacey feel to it, but it's still dope. My only gripe with that album was the choice of the singles, like the Whirlwind and Two Turntables and the Mic. I did not like those songs at all. I thought they're kind of weak. Especially Two Turntables and the Mic. Because, by that time, a lot of East Coast artists was trying to do renditions of they would sample like early '80s hip hop singles from the early '80s, and it just didn't really work out. I didn't really care for that. They would sample stuff like Down by Law, The Message, and stuff Rapper's Delight, and songs like that. And then it's just come on, like it's corny. Yeah. So I didn't really care for that, but the album overall very dope. Then you got Buckshot, the BDI Thug, which I feel like was kind of underwhelming. It was kind of weak. I just feel like that one was kind of rushed. It does have its moments, but I think overall the production was the main problem. He was trying to go commercial on that album. it didn't really work out. And then you got some early Just Blaze on that album, like some of his early um, placements was on that album as well. And then the only album I don't have in that second round of releases is The Angels of Death by Representatives, which is kind of rare. It's always been kind of rare. It's kind of hard to find. But truth of the matter is, the album is not that good. I'm gonna be real with you. It's not that good. I didn't really like that album, but I do need to get it just to add on to the collection. I do have it downloaded. I only like one song, and there's a song called "Tell Me." I feel like that was like the best song of the album. Everything else, the beats were kind of meh to me. All right, now let's get into this album. Oh, and that's another thing too. Those albums, starting from like the Nocturnal and forth. By this time, Duck Down, they had their distribution deal with Priority Records. So a lot of those releases are hard to find. They went out of print because if you guys remember, Death Row Records and Priority Records, they kind of went under. A lot of that stuff went out of print. That kind of thing, and it's the same thing with the Death Row releases. A lot of those stuff went out of print. It was like hard to find up until they got re-released back in 2001. I would say as far as Death Row, but with the Boot Camp Click, it was kind of like lost in the sauce. Like you still had them, but it was still hard to find. They were still in stock, but they were kind of hard to find. So that was the situation with those, and it's to the point where if you go to the Duck Down website, you're not gonna be able to find those on CD. More than likely on the digital platforms like the DSPs or the Duck Down website, as far as the digital releases. But as far as like the hard copies, the CDs, not gonna be able to find that. So you would have to go to like the second tier, websites like Discogs, eBay, Amazon, the e-commerce, type, websites and that kind of thing. Now let's get into this album. Top Dog, Serang Wonders, Louisville Slugger, Henryville Slugger. I'll show you what the album looks like. So you can see right here. Top Dog, Serang Wonder, Louisville Slugger. They're chilling right there, looking fresh. Show what the CD looks like. Alright. Nothing too crazy. Pretty basic. Alright. Open it up. A little spread out. Hey, okay, I see y'all. Okay, that's another dope album too. Alright, then you go always like order. You got the releases and that kind of thing. Alright. Turn it around. Got the gear, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these gears you could get on the website, or like when you go to like their concerts, they sell some of these releases and that kind of those gears and stuff like that. There's a dope pick right there, dope flick for the shout outs and all that good stuff. Now, let's get into the features in the album, which include the Boot Camp Click. You got Thunderfoot, Rockness Monster. He's not mentioned on here, but he's on in one of the songs. Who else? We got Boot Camp Click I mentioned before. We got a Little Knock, MS, Doc Holliday, and Illinois. Shout out to the Illinois, fucking dope. It's a shame they never dropped an album. Hardcore, Buckshot of Boot Camp Click fame, Havoc of Mobb Deep, the Fab Five, which include O.G.C and Helter Skelter together, which makes them the Fab Five. Boot Camp I mentioned before, and MFC. All right. Now, let's get into the producers. And producers include Don J, Black Market, Rebel, DJ Greyboy, who I feel like he's worked with AG in the past. I think he did the song Hidden Crates off the Full Scale album back that dropped in 98. Well, that was an EP that came out in 98, but in 2002 they released it as an LP. They added more songs. But I think he produced that track. The Hidden Crates by Showbiz and HE. Rebel, as I mentioned before, Baby Paul, shout out to Baby Paul, dope producer. Shalik, that's another dope producer. Black Market, Havoc and Mobb Deep, JT, Not to be confused with JT the Bigger Figures. Different JT. And nobody, dope producer who's worked with Jay-Z, Big Pun, countless other people, that kind of thing. Alright. Now you know how I get down. I'm going to go through some of the songs. Just break down, you know how I get down to meat and potatoes. Now let's get into it. Alright. Now we're gonna start with the first track, "Shoot to Kill." That was produced by DJ Greyboy. Dope track. I like the line by Starang where he says, "Ayo, they feel the wrath. We laugh on how we devour guys. Shower guys with lead. Show where the power lies. Fucking with Starang, we ain't got a pot to piss in. Can't stand the rain. You just another new addition. Taped up in the back of my man's expedition. Got you wishing you wasn't in this position." Fucking dope shit right there. So that was track one, "Shoot to Kill." Track two, Joe Clear. It's a skit, very pointed skit. Could have done without it. Made no sense. Just him just yapping, that kind of thing, just talking shit. Joe Clear, for those that don't know, he was a TV personality on BET. He hosted Rap City back in the mid to late 90s, particularly 94 up until 98, and then until Big Tigger took over back in 99 and that so forth. I think up until 2005 is like when he stopped, or 04. I don't remember. It's been a while. So yeah, it was Joe Clear skit. Yeah, pointless. Track three, "M-Pire Strikes Back." That was produced by Don J, featuring Rockness Monster and Thunderfoot. Dope track. One of my favorite tracks. Although it's one of my favorite tracks, I didn't write any lyrics. Normally when I write lyrics, it's because some of the lyrics stand out and nothing stood out from that song. But I do like the beat, and they just sound good. So, dope joint right there. Self-titled track. Alright, track four, "Some Timey." It's another dope joint right there. That was produced by Black Market. I like the line by Top Dog when he says, "I rip shots plus get prop from the hip hop full stops. I don't give a fuck, call the cops. I put the clips in Glock, cock back and bust shots. Who's hot? Tell my niggas to watch the black. Hold the shit down before they ass get knocked." Fucking dope. So that was track four, "Some Timey." Track five, "Shit Happens." That was produced by Rebel. Another dope track. I like the line by Louisville when he says, "Thinking about the shit that's in my head. Type of shit that put a nigga on the lead slip put a nigga on the lead slip, then you're dead. I gotta take a vacay on some uncharted island, pilot on the mic on a Mayday. Trying to stay away from he say, she say, but forever jealous niggas don't be beefing. Bill still hit the curb, cuff leaking, kicking it with pops over out back up into Lincoln." Fucking dope. So that was track five, "Shit Happens." Track six, "Bounce to the Ounce." But that was produced by Black Market. Another joint right there. Love the beat for that. That was the single and the only single of the album. Dope joint right there. Kind of has like a cinematic feel of the beat. Really dope. I like the line by Starang when he says, "Yo, Doc, I just hung up with my ex. She tried to flex like Funk Master. I got my gun in my lap. I can't get my truck faster. Smoke this weed first and then we get drunk after. Cause at home, bitches suck on my dick like a pacifier. For real, man, we don't, ain't no liar." Fucking dope. Dope shit right there. Alright, so that was track 6, "Bounce to the Ounce." Track 7, "Girls 90 Now." Featuring the Boot Camp Clique, particularly Drew Hart and Vincent Davis. In this track, they talk about different encounters with jump offs. Each member of the group, like I said, they talk about different stories with different hoes that they fucked with and that kind of thing. They rapped over the I wrote it down. The Girls Beat by the B-Boys is the instrumental for that. Like I said, it hints on what I talked about earlier about East Coast artists rapping over like 80s hip hop classic tracks and that kind of thing. So sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't. But yeah. So that was track 7, "Girls 90 Now." Track 8, Smokey Skit, "Bless the Mic." Another pointless track, could have done without that. Track 9, The Big O, produced by Shalik. The Girl track, that was an okay track featuring Smoke Light. Could have done without that. Wasn't too fond of that. Um, Now we're gonna go to track 10, If You Feel Like I Feel, featuring Hardcore. Pretty dope track. I like the line by Top Dog when he says, "I'm headstrong because I go head on with any fool who try to test the OG. You dead wrong. You bet let on. You stupid dead arm. Anyways, who's the money? Who's the mini man talking? Think he can keep walking in this day and time? Didn't he know Big Kahuna plus actions and Nam ready to begin all put all the bullshit to the end. Put it down for Brooklyn. Ain't no room for fronting. Fucking dope shit right there. So that was track 10. If You Feel Like I Feel. Track 11, Slow Mo. That was produced by Rebel. There's a sex track, decent beat right there. So that was track 11. Now we go to track 12. You're Not Sure to See Tomorrow. That was produced by Baby Paul. Featuring Illinois, Doc Holliday, MS, and Little Knock. Dope beat. One of my favorite tracks of the album. Fucking dope shit right there. One of my favorite tracks. I like the line by Top Dog when he says, "Hey yo, once my niggas start feeling vibe, they fill out these nines. They fill out their nines. Dude think it's body bulletproof. I'ma show you his spine. Get loose one time. Hop back in the 4-5. Whoever think they clapping can't happen. Handle your bi." Fucking dope shit right there. So that was track 12. You're Not Sure to See Tomorrow. Dope shit right there. Track 13, From the Table to the Label skit. Another pointless skit. Just some niggas just talking bullshit. I ain't getting anything out of it. Track 14, whew, Suspect Niggas. That's just probably my favorite track of the album. Featuring Buckshot and Havoc of Mobb Deep. That shit goes so hard. Love this shit. Love the beat for it. One of my favorite Havoc beats of all time. That shit is dope. This is definitely Murder Music era Havoc. You know what I mean? This is like, I would say this is like around like 97, 98 Havoc. Dope shit right there. I like the line by Starang when he says, Y'all been first like the prince, like ever since grade 6. Can't turn back. I ain't been the same since. You know how bitch niggas in the industry pretend to be the friend of me. In the long run become enemies. R.I.P. Wet Capone who got juked up. Looked up. My nigga had mound this beat. He hooked up. Got my niggas out on the Ave. They still shook up. Fucking dope. Top Dog when he says, build real nigga shit. Tell you how the hell to feel. O.G.C till the day I D.I. All night put it up. MFC for life. Niggas looked it up. Look up to turn out to be suspect. Alarm and grab your kids, nigga. His body. Yo, they ain't with getting money. They laughing at what ain't funny. They're gonna stay hungry because our days getting sunny. Fucking dope. That shit is so fucking dope. Love that shit. That was track 14, Suspect Niggas. Track 15, Dirtiest Players in the Game, featuring Helter Skelter, so which makes them Fab Five. Dope shit right there. That was produced by Justin Trugman, or JT. Like I said, featuring Helter Skelter, one of my favorite tracks of the album. I like the line by Sean P when he says, "Hey yo, I step in the ring weighing 220, cause I gotta get money. Mad dudes wanna confront me, but they can't fuck with my speed and my power. The combination will fuck up just like weed and some powder. The iron mic of this rap shit. Mad niggas appear soft. Spit some shit for my mouthpiece that'll rip your fucking ears off. Leave you punch drunk when I hit you with the bottle of Smirnoff. Rap style is rusty. Took too many years off." Fucking dope. Rock when he said, "First of all, Alcatraz, I matter my craft. I got the power to bomb that ass like I'm Kevin Nash. Cause every game the same, niggas is trying to blow. If this was wrestling, we'd be NWO. The same shit. They started out having the bullshit fights like we had bullshit shows rocking the bullshit mics. Woo! Fire. They killed that shit. Love that shit. Alright. Track 16, Set Sail, It's a dope track right there. I didn't write any lyrics for it, but it's a weed track. Just talk about their love of weed and that kind of thing. Just boosting up weed and that's kind of thing. That's what I got from that track. Dope beat for that shit too. And track 17, Boot Camp MFC Eastern Conference. It's like a basketball game. Yeah, dope joint right there. That was produced by Nobody. Which includes Doc Holliday and the Representatives. Dope track is a posse cut with the whole Boot Camp clique. I like the line by Tech when he says, I run with the Waters plus stylish cats on way back. Whip Watt, Big Joe, my Uptown Connect. With niggas got their tongue numb from stashing the crack. I was throwing Poppy store down with the tape duck gat. I move up from that, now I flip legal trap. I tied up in mutual bonds, stocks and rap. Still got the loot for my man when I'm broke for smoke. And I catch a dice game in the PJs, keeping the bank and blow. Sean P when he says, you try to play my son, you get a baby. When I got crazy guns, aiming them shits to your motherfucking cranium, flaming them. But the long run, do nice blaming them for the shit they do, cause they claiming they into dating, son. Fucking dope shit. I felt like that song was kind of like a continuation of the song Gangs All Here from the Magnum Force album. So, but a way better song than that album, than that song in my personal opinion. Overall, my thoughts on this album, I really thought this was a really good album, really fucking dope. Underrated in my opinion. This album is out of print. This album tends to go for, usually like in the 20, like the median price tends to be like, $20 and up, that kind of thing. Like I said, it is out of print, so good luck trying to find it. But like I said, expect to pay like, $20 and up, that kind of thing. My only gripe with this album was the skits, and I feel like some of the subject matter, you could tell they were kind of going more thuggish on this album, like more street, that kind of thing compared to the Storm. I just kind of feel like with this album, I felt like they could have had a little bit more conceptual songs and that kind of thing, like some introspective tracks, like how they came up and songs like that. But overall, I thought it was a pretty dope album. Is it a classic? I don't think it's a classic. It's a good album overall. I think this album and Warzone were the best albums as far as the second round of releases from the Duck Down records, in my personal opinion. Everything was just kind of hit or miss for me, but definitely Warzone and this album would be the best album production wise and all that kind of thing. So that's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this album. I've been appreciating the love from everybody, from all the reviews I've been doing. The CD collection. By the way, I have a CD collection video coming up, but I want to knock some of these reviews out. Then I'll do the CD collections. Definitely stay tuned for those. But yeah, O.G.C. M-Pire Strikes Back. Released in 1999. Let me know what you guys think. All right, peace.